There's a fire starting in my heart, reaching a fever pitch and it's bringing me out the dark. Finally, I can see you crystal clear. Go ahead and sell me out and I'll lay your bare. See how I'll leave with every piece of you. I've grown in many ways since my first record. Obviously I'm older, a bit more mature, but I'm just a bit more patient with myself and other people. I'm not as expectant as I used to be, but I'm more aware of my own flaws and my own failures and my own disappointments, and I know what it is that I do wrong in relationships, which seems to be the theme of all of my songs based on guys. I'm not naive anymore, do you know what I mean? A bit more worldly, life happened. Rolling in the deep is just about having a bit of self-worth and suddenly coming to the revelation that you're being treated quite badly. It's about the last argument that we had before we completely broke up, and I was fuming. I could really feel my heart going. It takes a lot for me to get angry as well, and the beat is the speed that my heart was going when I was talking to Paul Letworth about it. Rolling in the deep is a sort of twist on a kind of phrase in England called roll deep, which is about having someone have your back and being part of a team and that no one else can affect you, and that's what I mean by rolling in the deep, is we could have had it easy, do you know what I mean, if we'd managed to stay together. It's about saying, my life is going to be fine, even though it's not yet, but your life's going to be rubbish. Recording in Malibu was pretty isolating, really. When we were in the studio, no one who wasn't on the record was allowed into the room. It was just me, the band, Rick and the engineers. And we could have been in 1950 or we could have been in 2090. Do you know what I mean? It was just all about the song and about the music, and I had absolutely no idea what was going on in the charts or what new videos had come out. I was completely clueless. And it was all just about kind of creating a vibe and going with our instinct, which I felt very, very lucky and fortunate to be able to do a record like that so early on in my career. So that was really quite inspirational. And then with Paul Letworth in West London, which was a lot more spontaneous and fearless. He's got so many ideas and he's really not afraid to try them all out, and that's the complete opposite of how I am. I always like to kind of be quite scheduled and know what I'm doing. And it was basically like having a blank canvas of Paul and just throwing anything we could find, any ideas. But I guess the main difference would be the weather. I mean, I'm allergic to the sun anyway, pretty much. It was a very conscious decision that I made to work with as many people as possible, and my first record, I'd say about 85% of it was all me, and I had some of them songs from when I was 16, and I'm very limited at the moment when it comes to being a musician. Do you know what I mean? I'm not as musically academic as Paul Letworth is, and as Fraser T. Smith and Ryan and Dan Wilson, so I only know 4 chords, so if I'd written the whole record again on my own, it would have sounded like 19, and that's my biggest fear, was making the same record again. And I find I'm really dismissive of my own material, and I throw ideas away really, really easily, which I think is a bad thing, but when I work with someone else, I throw it and they catch it, and then they kind of turn it into something that ends up really, really working. So I think going down the line, it'll be more and more that I'll be collaborating with other people. I think I wrote about 15 or 16 songs that I ended up recording for the record. I probably had about 45 ideas, and 11 made the final album. Found a girl and you're married now. Someone Like You is it's about trying to move on and trying to be happy for someone, even when you're quite reluctant to do so. I broke down yesterday when I was singing Someone Like You at a session, and just had to stop and have a bit of a sip of tea. Especially because it's I'm still really early singing all these new songs, and I'm not quite over it yet, do you know what I mean? I thought I was, but I'm not. So sometimes, I do get a bit lost in the moment and remember being in that situation that the song's about. Which, it's pretty heartbreaking and takes my breath away a bit. But, I really hope that he's really well, and I hope that I'm going to be well soon. It's just a song about hope. It isn't over. Well, my favourite singers are very, very passionate, and it's important for me to be a passionate performer and a passionate singer. And I ain't passionate about anything but the things that go on in my life. When I was sort of started promoting my first album, I was a bit worried that I wasn't going to have anything normal happen to me, because this is so bizarre. Like, you know, this music stuff, it's just out of this world. And I was very lucky from when I talked to other artists. Some of them are like, you know, very, very isolated and don't get to meet people. So I'm really pleased that I had something normal to write about, because I wouldn't want to write about hotel rooms and my fear of flying, because that's boring and it's a bit egotistical.
Yesterday was the time of our lives. We were born and raised.
Whenever I try and plan to sit down to write something, nothing ever comes. And that's a running theme from the first album as well, whenever I try to do it. I have absolutely no structure. I haven't found one yet either. Usually the idea comes to me when I'm not ready for it. Late at night, having a glass of water, or out with friends or whatever. So I've just got to kind of be a bit patient and wait it out.
I couldn't fight it. I'd hoped you'd see my face, and that you'd be reminded that for me it isn't over.
I'm not very academic, so that's the only reason I ever kind of pursued music and went to music school, was because I knew that I had to have some qualifications in my life, and there was no way I was going to be getting them in English or maths. And I knew I'd do all the work with music, do you know what I mean? Like, and I knew I'd pass all my subjects and get a grade and go on to do whatever, but I never ever expected to be a singer professionally. Every single person I know has got a dream, and none of their dreams have come true. So what, you know, why would mine ever come true? And it was also drummed into me from quite young, from like teachers and authority people, that, you know, not to live in a fantasy world, and that there's a very big line between like fantasy and living, and I just sort of chose to live. I went with the flow when I got offered a record deal.
Who would have known how bittersweet this would taste? Never mind, I'll find someone like you.
I think the Grammys was when I don't think anything could ever actually proper sink in, but that was when I was like, you know, it's like a secret members club that you're not really allowed in. That's when I realised that how music can travel. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm from Tottenham in North London, and then I was at the Staples Centre winning a Grammy. So that was when I was like, you know, so it's pretty weird.
Never mind, I'll find someone like you. I wish nothing.
I'm coming in May, I think, to start touring. May and June, and then I'll be back later in the year doing a few bits and pieces. I love touring. It's exhausting, but there's like, I love seeing people respond to my music, because that's how I feel about some artists, and there's no other feeling like it that I've found yet. So.
But sometimes it hurts instead. Sometimes it lasts in love, but sometimes it hurts instead. Yeah.